you're all having a wonderful day. Now, this will be kind of a review, and the thing is, sometimes you can just be minding your own business and suddenly an idea just occurs to you. So, what I want to do is discuss briefly, very briefly, three films, well, it's two films and an anthology, and ask you what they have in common. Now, the first is The Purge, the original 2013 film. Okay, Wikipedia says it's a American dystopian action horror written and directed by James DeMonico. The film stars Ethan Hawke, Lena Headey, Adelaide Kane, and Max Burkholder as members of a wealthy family who find themselves endangered by a gang of murderers during the annual Purge, a night during which all crime, including murder, is temporarily legal. Okay, the first thing about the Purge, for those, and it came out in 2013, so I'm assuming pretty much that everybody who wanted to see it saw it. But the synopsis continues to tell you, in 2014, a totalitarian political party called the New Founding, let's keep moving. Through the surveillance cameras, the family sees, no, that's not what I wanted. James Sandin returns to his home in an affluent Los Angeles gated community to wait out the purge with his wife Mary and their children Zoe and Charlie. The family is assured the security system manufactured by James' company will keep them safe while Zoe meets her boyfriend Henry. As the purge begins, James enables the security system and the family disperses to go about their normal routines. Zoe returns to her room and finds Henry, who had snuck in before the security system was engaged, planning on confronting her father about their relationship. Meanwhile, Charlie watches the security monitors and sees a wounded man calling for help. He temporarily disables the system to allow the man inside, but James races to re-engage the system and holds the man at gunpoint. Henry comes downstairs and holds James at gunpoint in turn, but the former mortally wounds the latter. During the chaos, the stranger disappears. Okay, all I want to say about that is that the stranger is a black guy. That is important, remember that. Stranger is played by Edwin Hodge. Okay, you can see there Edwin Hodge screaming and asking someone to please let him in. So no one else will let him in this wealthy neighborhood except for this little boy. And that is what I wanted to show you from this one. Let's look at the next one. This is a still from Get Out. If you remember that movie, it came out in 2017. Okay, Wikipedia tells us that it's a 2017 American horror film written and directed by Jordan Peele in his directorial debut. Debut. It stars Daniel Kaluuya, Allison Williams, Lil Ray Howery, Bradley Whitford, Caleb Landry Jones, Stephen Root, Lakeith Stanfield, and Catherine Keener. Get Out follows Chris Washington Kaluuya, a young black man who uncovers a disturbing secret when he meets the family of his white girlfriend, Rose Armitage, played by Williams. So I already showed you the still. Okay, so here it is one more time. Now this is a still from the 2021 anthology Them. Okay, now in case you haven't already heard what Them was about, let me show you the caption for that. And this is the Wikipedia description of the 10-part film anthology Them. Okay, Them is an American horror drama streaming television anthology series created by Little Marvin and executive produced by Lena Waite. The series stars Deborah Irende Ashley Thomas, Allison Peel, and Ryan Wanton, and premiered on Prime Video on August 9th, 2021. Premise: set in 1953, Them Covenant follows a black family who, during the Second Great Migration, moves from North Carolina to an all-white neighborhood in Los Angeles. The family's idyllic home slowly transforms into an epicenter of evil forces next door and otherworldly that threaten to haunt, ravage, and destroy them. Okay, that's a lot of debate and discussion about this particular anthology. But as I said, all in all, I thought it was very interesting. Now, I have no intention of ever watching the fifth episode ever again, but beyond that, and it's not because it was not well done. It's because it was so well done. It was so good at encapsulating all the horrors of our existence. Now, you might be saying, okay, what do these films, The Purge, Get Out, and Them all have in common? They all show black individuals in all white environments. That is probably not the healthiest way for you to live. I mean, all in all. About the characters in Them, they're strivers. That is a term that was used, I think, for people maybe even 100 years ago, black people getting out of slavery and trying to prove that they were just as good as any other race of people. That was what it was then. Now it's just a matter of everybody feeling like the best is someplace other than here. Here being anywhere that African Americans are. That is, that even as a race, as African Americans, we tend to call wherever we live, well, actually, definitively, you could call wherever we live ghettos, but we don't look at it as a ghetto in that, okay, it's where we live. We look at it as a place that is second class, third class, fourth class, just not good enough. You need to move on. And you could make the argument that with them, well, they had tragedy before they were the only blacks in a certain area. And you could make that argument, but the anthology really doesn't tell you if they were the only blacks there, in that particular area. We do know the wife was there by herself. When animals are hunting, they always isolate. They isolate, and that weakens the person. They don't have the strength of the herd. So when African Americans seek to go out and find what they consider to be better in other people's environments, they make themselves weak, and they also make the environment they left weak because they take away their ambition and their money. They're not contributing to their own community. And that is what the three films have in common. And I think that these movies are trying to tell you something that you might already know, but still, I think that I was looking at a film that came out in 2004 called The Cookout, and it was about a young man who had just he was about to be signed for a $30 million basketball contract. And it showed how he went and bought, I think, a 20-room mansion or something, even before he had signed the contract. And of course, this was in a basically totally non-black community, well, except for Danny Glover, who was married to Farrah Fawcett, and you could say at that point he didn't really qualify for black anyway, but that's debatable. But the point is, even Danny Glover, not him per se, I don't know where he lives, but the movie was showing you something. It was showing that as soon as black people make money, they don't put it back in their community. They put it into other people's communities. And it is really the same with dating outside your community. when you take yourself out and you put your talents somewhere else toward building someone else's community, you're not just weakening yourself because you're isolating yourself. You're also weakening the community that you left behind. And this is not just me saying this. It seems to me these movies are telling you this because I think that they have been given a lot of people have given a lot of reasons for this predictive programming. I don't think it's predictive programming. I don't think that there are forces out there that want to harm you, that want to warn you. They don't want to warn you. They want to sucker punch you. But I think that there are certain rules that have been put in place by the Most High that they can't violate. So they have to tell you. They have to tell you that, hey, look at the animal kingdom. Before a lion or a wolf strikes, it isolates. It takes one and it tries to get it away from the herd where it can kill it. Okay? People are animals, basically. I mean, religiously, if you look at doctrines, they pretty much say you have to be born again. You have to change. You have to stop doing what you were doing before. And even the thing, looking at is millions, well, I don't know if millions, but there are a lot of videos on narcissism. And one of the major things a narcissist does, one of the first things they do is isolate you. Because then you don't have the strength of the herd. As a human being, you need to hear other people's opinions. You also need other people's germs to a certain extent. So this mask wearing is also debatable. I mean, there have been people who have stated, adverse opinions, but they have been silenced. So I'm not a doctor or a nurse or anything like that, but I do think that it is good for the human being to think about it, question it. And like I said, it just occurred to me that these movies are all kind of telling you. Now, when Get Out first came out, I thought to myself, well, I know black men will stop trying to run away. They will stop thinking that, this is so much better, this woman likes me so much better, when they're kind of showing you it's not a matter of liking you. It's a matter of we feel we have the intellect and you have the strength, and we want to take your intellect, your strength rather, and match it with our intellect. We don't feel you should have that kind of strength anyway. So what we plan on doing is taking it from you. Now, I thought that movie would wake up a few people, and it didn't. It's kind of like people have this way of looking at life like, well, they're talking about them, not me. I mean, not my white woman. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against any particular race. I just think that people are drawn to their own. As much as they like themselves, they're going to like people who are like them. That doesn't mean that they have to go burn things on people's lawns or anything. It just means that, well, I like me, so I know that I'm reacted to a certain way based on my looks. So I can relate to someone who is having the same experience or a similar experience. And I think that is not prejudice. That's simply life. Like, I think Muhammad Ali was like, blackbirds do blackbird things and crows do crow things and stuff like that. That is how I see it. It's not a matter of looking up or down at anybody. It's a matter of saying, well, I understand 4C hair because I have 4C hair. I understand 4A and B hair. It's all kind of similar. I don't really understand. Well, I think that as African Americans, as any group that has a lower social standing, you know more about the group above you than they know about you on a personal level. Now, on a scientific or study level, they know more about you because they're watching you, they're studying you. But that also is another story. So basically, I'm just saying that I think that they're telling you that you really need to build up your home, take care of home, that's pretty much it. So you guys think about that and have a great rest of your day.